Okay, now we get to the beautiful part of the day. This is where you set up the interactive learning. So I've shown you what not to do. It's like a kid. You can tell a kid not to do something, you can smack it. But unless you show a kid what he or she should do, they're only really learning what they shouldn't do. I love this picture. It just says so much. Look at the body language of the women. So we've got a circle of 4 here. This could be a tutorial. This guy, I think he's German. He's got a skivvy. He would drive a Bob. I reckon he'd go on 150 grand a year. So when they enter the room, I'll always assign them into groups of 4. If we don't have perfect symmetry, it may have to be a 3 or a 5, but ideally 3 by 4. The furniture's always rearranged, so I deliberately left the furniture like this at the start. The onus is on the students to lead the discussion. It's really hard if you're a control freak, and I am, or if you have a really bad class because the blind lead the blind and the lunatics take over the asylum and nothing happens. It's really hard, and look, at the end of the day, you're like a chef. You work with what you got. You can't make an omelette with 2 eggshells. You need eggs. And maybe something else, at least eggs though. You walk around the room, monitor the discussion, offer encouragement along the way, okay? Incentives will usually get the best results. Hip pocket is one way, and that's lollies and things like that, which I always use. I'll use it for the audience too. Or make it in their best interest to work for you, okay? So you've got a range of incentives. Bribes, lollies, cakes. Games and competitions where the students are interacting without realising it helps them learn as well. Once they start having fun, they learn without realising it. That's the key, to learn instinctively on autopilot, okay? You can push, you can cajole, you can force. End of the day, it won't work. Medals, top marks, lollies, competitions. That will usually get the best results. If all else fails, and they're not motivated by self-interest or lollies or marks, put the fear of failure into them. But always use the carrot first, because if you get too used to using the stick, you'll become fascist, and we don't want that. Okay, welcome back. Don't get too comfortable. I'm going to put you into groups. You will work in this tutorial for the rest of the semester in this group. Just get to know each other. So a couple of minutes now, and then we'll start. Just to make this a lot of fun, we're going to have a competition now. So I need a member of the audience to volunteer to be the judge. Does anyone want to play? Liam? Mr. Liam Lenton. Okay, good. So this group here will do question 3, what factors drive globalisation. This group here will do question 4, compare and contrast the challenges of managing in and international businesses, And this group here will do question 5, discuss the difference between the globalisation of markets and the globalisations of production. So each group will nominate one person that takes the answer. So I want the other members of the group contributing. They will write down the answers. So you have 5 minutes to prepare and you have 5 minutes to present. When the presentations start, when this group starts talking, quiet, quiet. You are not working on your presentations after the 5 minutes, and you're not talking amongst yourself while the other groups are presenting. Okay? Let's start. Good, lots that we like to see. Nice, neat hand running too, Sally. Good. Hold on. Guys, because we've got 3 pens happening here. Who's doing the writing? Pen down, pen down. Answers go to Amy. Amy's the go-to girl. Guys, who's doing? Are you doing the writing, Vina?
Yep.
Okay. You can choose the format. That's okay. Start with the definition of globalisation. Though we need it at the start. So each group has 5 minutes to present, and the winning group. I've ran out of lollies because you guys and girls have eaten them all. So that's basically all we're left with now. So we've got 4 Pascal type lollies. If this group wins, then we have 3. Okay, this group can start.
Okay, so we've got what factors drive globalisation. Globalisation being?
It's the move toward, or shift towards a more integrated, interdependent global economy.
And some of the factors that we identified were an increase in technology with better telecommunications, the internet, better transportation to move things around.
Yeah, internet, we can Twitter, we know what our friends in the US are buying, we can buy that as well. It's a more integrated environment, we know exactly what's going on the opposite side of the world. We can talk to anyone in England, we can say hi to China, we can do anything at the moment with technology.
And we also got reduction in trade barriers like tariffs and that, which allows for more flow of goods between countries, and also investment barriers, which leads to more FDI. Yeah, so that's another factor.
We can also enter into sophisticated market. We have the better quality product and demand from the consumer. And we can reduce the price for the product and with the better quality for the product.
Okay, done. Group 4 over here.
Okay, we've got question 4, which is compare and contrast the challenges of managing in an international business environment with those in a domestic environment.
Straight away, the first thing that we identified was just logically, it's a lot harder for managers managing a global international business than what it is domestically. I mean, they've got to deal with a lot more problems and on a lot larger scale than what domestic managers do. I mean, one of the first things we identified was just, as Beth will comment on, was cultural shock. We've got to deal with different political systems. We've got to deal with fixed and foreign exchange rates. All these things make it a lot more difficult for managers to in an international business.
Also, different legal systems. So there could be more lax laws which may create ethical issues as well to deal with from the domestic market as well. The entry scale for the business to enter into foreign countries and which markets to actually enter also create an issue for domestic businesses expanding.
Well, I've also got down here, one of the other ones is that how best to coordinate and control globally dispersed production. I mean, for example, we identified that if you're in Australia, you know, the furthest you would have to worry about if you're a domestic business is maybe shipping stuff from WA or from Northern Territory, whereas an international business, you've got to make sure things are arriving on time from, say, Sweden or China or Germany to make sure your product all comes together. All different difficulties that you don't face domestically.
Adding on to what he just said, is we also came with the problems of tailoring your products to the local market. It's very hard to change your product if you're an international business opposed to a domestic which can reply and respond to changes.
Excellent. Make up a name.
The geniuses.
The Geniuses, very modest.
The truth?
The Truth. Okay. The Geniuses, The Truth.
Smarter than the others.
Smarter than the others. Geniuses, Truth, smarter than the others. Okay, you've talked the talk, Jono. Let's see if you can walk the walk.
Okay, well, essentially our question was explain the difference between globalisation of markets and globalisation of production. So do you want to sort of explain production?
Globalisation of production is where firms like Nike, who originally started in America, go into producing all across the world to increase their distribution networks and supply to a global market.
Well, I'll just talk about globalisation of markets. I mean, obviously it's got a far more of a consumer perspective there, so it's about the ability of, you know, something produced locally or whatever to be consumed and sold offshore. So I guess an example of that would be China, which has liberalised its trade a lot more and has sort of been a big part of globalisation. They consume a lot more Western goods, I suppose, and they consume a lot more of Australian minerals and so forth. And so in that sense, yeah, it's not so much that it's been produced offshore, but it's been consumed offshore, certainly. Yeah.
Another example of globalization of production, a recent example was Pacific Brands. How they, I think 4 in 5 people lost their jobs, and the jobs got exported to countries where, yeah, like China and all that. And yeah.
Done? Okay. Liam, could you please announce the winner?
Well, I must say that the first time I saw Susan Boyle audition, I thought I'd seen it all. I was wrong. Dead wrong. However, I must go with the second group, The Truth.
The Truth, okay. Well done, Liam.
Thank you.
Thank you.